Hello. Today I'm gonna be doing my micro lesson, and I know the quality is kind of bad, but the best I can do since Corona. So my lesson is called "What Makes You Stressed," and it's for ninth grade health class. And the SOLs that I'll be covering is just one of them, and it's 9.2, and it's called "Develop a Personal System for Coping with Distress and Stress." The objectives of this class are the student will manage their stress by making a Venn diagram on what stresses and de-stresses them. What the students will need are a piece of paper, a green and red marker to draw the circles, and something to write with. The reading strategy I would be using, or strategy I'll be using, is a Venn diagram, which is an illustration of the relationships between and among sets, groups of objects that share something in common. So, for example, activities the students will do. So the procedure is for them, basically, I'm going to go over what stress is and how stress is good and bad at certain things. But for when the students have to get graded, they're going to be asked to make a Venn diagram to determine what activities they do daily that stress them and doesn't stress them. They'll organize using a Venn diagram, and for the closure, they will have to write a response on the diagram and ask questions like, are you surprised with any activities you do? Like, are they stressful for you or they're not? And can you change any of the activities to make them less stressful? And then finally, to bridge it to the next day, tomorrow I might ask the students to write a report on how they can cope with stress, and I'll also teach them more about coping with stress. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is this is what I would be showing the kids and how to deal. It's a presentation, and this is how I will do my class. So first off, I'll explain what stress is. Stress is basically a feeling of emotion or physical tension. It may come from any activity or thought that causes the body to be irritated, angry, or anxious. It is a response for your body. It is your response of your body to a threat or request. Stress can be good in short events. Basically, stress can cause numerous amounts of things. It can cause health problems like depression, anxiety, and personality disorders. Stress can also make you physically ill with diseases such as cardiovascular disease, including heart disease, high blood pressure, heart attacks, and strokes. And then positive stress could be a potential marriage, holiday, or childbirth, and can be associated with positive stressors, as also known as eustress, which is just another name for positive stress. And another example of this eustress can be going to college. And then negative stress could be all sorts of things: death of the spouse, filing for divorce, losing contact with loved ones, death of a family member, people hospitalized, injuries, illness, being abused, neglected, and they're all negative stressors, and they're called as distress. That's the other name for it. And then I'll tell the students a quick solution on how they can deal with their stress. So to avoid stress, avoid alcohol and drugs because those are antidepressants and they don't help stress at all. Partake in physical activity. It's proven that physical activity makes you happier. If you're happy, you usually have less stress. You can sleep more. Always sleeping makes you feel better. And then manage your time. If you organize things well, you won't have to deal with the stress of schoolwork or stuff like that. And learn to say no. Some people have a hard time saying no, and that causes a lot of their stress because they don't want to let anyone down. And now for the task for you guys have to do, this is what I tell the class, my students, they'd have to make a Venn diagram of what stresses you and what de-stresses you. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move over to my whiteboard over here. Just give me a second. Can you see that? Yeah, perfect. So here is what this is what a Venn diagram looks like. So you're going to take, preferably, pretend this is a green marker and this is a red marker. So this is the green, and this is the red. So this would be red and green. This is the example I will give my students. Let me make this spot in the middle bigger so I can write more in the middle. Perfect. And this is both. So this right here, this little circle, is both green and red. So let's say red is stuff that stresses you. What stresses me? Here's an example. School stresses me. Schoolwork. Schoolwork is very stressful because you always have to do due dates and stuff, things like that. What de-stresses me is lacrosse. But also with lacrosse, it stresses me because we need to win games. So I put that in the middle. Cross. And then what de-stresses me, we're probably playing video games. So I'd write video games right here. And as you can see, here is something I get de-stressed by, something that gives me stress and de-stresses me at the same time because I love playing lacrosse. And finally, red, which is what stresses me a lot, and it's schoolwork. And that's very hard. So yeah, this would be my class for the micro teaching. Hope you liked it. Thank you.